she never had a chance. That's how one source described the circumstances of the hearing that put Britney under this conservatorship 13 years ago. Now, a new in-depth investigation with sources from Britney's inner circle, it sheds new light on what the New Yorker calls the conservatorship nightmare Britney's been living under.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Exposing SMG. Today we will be taking a stroll down memory lane, as I'm sure many of you now have heard of the Free Britney movement that has been circling around for 2 years now. I made a video explaining 10 things Britney exposes in court while she is talking about her conservatorship. No one really understands what Britney went through in her past and what led her down this conservatorship and to what is her life now. We are going to be talking about her extremely traumatizing upbringing that may or may not have ruined her life. If you are looking for the complete story on this topic, look no further because we are going to discuss everything. Comment down below your thoughts about this whole Free Britney situation. Do you believe Britney is an actual victim, or is she unwell and deserves to be under the care of a conservatorship? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Britney Spears will always be known as a legendary celebrity. With an insanely impressive career and an explosive start in the industry, Britney battled many inner demons in this industry, and her traumatic lifestyle is what set Britney up for a completely unstable and controlled life. So how did it get there? Well, keep on watching till the end of this video to learn about what went on. We are bringing you 6 traumatizing things that went on in Britney Spears' life. Britney's upbringing and disturbing childhood. Number 1. Growing up with a toxic family. Britney's father and mother had a very toxic relationship that eventually led to them getting a divorce. Lynn Spears, Britney's mother, originally filed for divorce from James Spears and cited cheating as the reason to do so. Fights would be so bad with Britney's parents that she and her 2 siblings would have to go trailer hopping back to their aunt until the fight was over. It isn't surprising to learn that both Britney's parents were toxic and controlling. This led Britney down an unstable path when it came to her childhood and teen years. Number 2. Her entire image of the pure, innocent virgin was a lie. When Britney first debuted in the industry, she had a wholesome image of this innocent, pure girl. This was something highly romanticized in the industry, and it was believed that the more innocent she was, the more fans she would have and the more people who would want to work with her. So what did her team do? They kept feeding this innocent girl narrative. Her image was done in a calculative manner, and both Britney and her team agreed to do this. This is something many producers and management teams would love to do. I don't know if you guys remember, but a while back in the early 2000s, Disney stars would always wear purity rings, which symbolized not having sex before marriage. The idea of an innocent virgin was highly glorified in the eyes of Hollywood. The more you had that image, the better for your career and the more money you'd make. So one thing Britney and her team did was constantly glorify this super pure and innocent girl. Number 3. Britney being encouraged to act like an adult when she was still a child. Lynn Spears, aka Britney's mom, was using Britney as a stepping stool in her legacy. This brings us to how she encouraged her to be sexually active at 14 years old. 14 years old. Lynn was using her daughter's beauty and innocence to secure connections. Her mom came up with the idea that Britney should date older dudes and go all the way with them. Lynn portrayed this whole innocent act for the cameras, but behind closed doors, that was not the case. When it came to dating Justin Timberlake, Britney's mom wanted them to sleep together because she believed it would be good for her. She also allowed her kids to drink at the age 13 and attend clubs. They were introduced to the party scene at a very young age, and you can already fill in the dots as to what could have happened during this time. Britney didn't have parental discipline, so obviously in Hollywood, everyone let her do what she wanted as long as it wasn't public. I mean, her mother literally once caught her doing cocaine and smoking pot at 15 and thought it was a normal teenage thing to do. Normal teenage thing to do. Coke and pot. Britney's parents let her and her siblings do whatever they wanted because they believed it was part of growing up. And due to this behavior, many sources have said that Britney developed a serious drug addiction. When Britney was just 12 years old, she worked on the set of the Mickey Mouse Club on Disney. One of her co-stars was Ryan Gosling, who once revealed that he felt bad for possibly corrupting Britney and Christina Aguilera because he gave them a bunch of sex tips and basically led all those conversations on set. No one cared what Britney was being exposed to as long as she kept the good girl image for the cameras and brought home the checks. As you can see, this was the foundation that Britney was brought up on. And after understanding this, I'm sure we can all assume that it's not all that shocking to see how she had very public mental breakdowns. Number 4. Britney being controlled. Even as a legal adult, Britney was still being taken advantage of, and in one of those instances, it was by her manager. In the video I mentioned earlier, we spoke in detail about what Britney had accused her manager and parents of doing to her. Feel free to go check out that video after this one to see everything she said. Back to the early 2000s Britney, some of her former managers and agents have been accused of drugging Britney and taking advantage of her. So at this point, Britney was about 18 years old and dealing with severe mental health issues that were not being properly medicated. Once Britney was drugged, she was easier to control. After everything that happened, Lynn comes out to say that she wishes Britney wasn't branded as a sex object to sell records. She got trashed by the media, so in return she released a tell-all book to tell her side of the story. In her book, Lynn says, "I wanted to be in denial, but I couldn't deny the video footage unfolding in front of me. It was Britney. She was shaving off her beautiful hair. All I could think of was, how could this be? She used to be the happiest girl in the world." Oh, please. Imagine encouraging your child to have sex at 14 and see them do drugs at 15 and then question why they had a mental breakdown. This brings us to our next part. Number 5. Britney's public meltdowns. In January 2007, Britney's aunt, Sandra Bridges Covington, died of ovarian cancer. Britney and Sandra were super close, and Sandra was dubbed Britney's second mother. In February of that year, Britney stayed at a rehab facility specializing in drugs for less than a day, even though she was set to stay for the 45-day program. She left and went off to shave her head in the infamous scandal we all know today. What most people don't know is that after Britney left rehab, she went to see her ex-husband Kevin Federline at his home and demanded to see their kids Sean and Jaden. He didn't let her. That's when she drove to a hair salon and asked Esther Tognos to shave her head. Knowing who the troubled pop star was, Esther said no. She told her, maybe you're having a hormonal moment or something, and maybe tomorrow you'll feel differently about it. Let's talk about this. As soon as Esther turned her back, Britney took the clippers and started shaving her own head. Esther said that Britney got teary-eyed, talking about how mad her mom was going to be that she did this to her hair. She tried to make her feel better by saying she's starting a trend and everyone will soon follow. When Esther was speaking to Britney's bodyguard, she said that there were more than 70 paparazzi standing outside of the salon and taking pictures of her while her security did absolutely nothing. Right after she shaved her head, Britney went to a nearby tattoo parlor and asked tattoo artist Emily Winhug to tat her up. Emily recalls the night saying, "I heard an insane roaring sound outside. I wasn't sure what was happening, if there was a riot outside. And then the flashes came. I noticed her hair was gone. I remember asking her, 'Why did you shave your head?' She then claims that Britney told her, 'It was, I just don't want anybody touching my head. I don't want anyone touching my hair. I'm sick of people touching my hair.' Just like Esther said at the hair salon, Emily claims that her security didn't seem to care for Britney. You would think that after all of that, Britney would take a break and heal from the Hollywood mess. But nope. She was forced to release her 5th studio album, Blackout, in October 2007. She even performed Gimme More at the 2007 VMAs, which is regarded now as Britney's worst performance. This is where things get real, though. Number 6. The start of her conservatorship. During this time is when Britney's rights were slowly continued to be taken away. In October 2007, she lost physical custody of her sons to her ex-husband, Kevin. In January of 2008, she refused to withdraw custody of her sons and then was taken to the Cedars Sinai Medical Center on January 3rd. It was revealed that she was under the influence of an unknown substance and was being detained and evaluated at the hospital. The following day, her visitation rights were suspended at an emergency court hearing, and her ex-husband was given sole physical and legal custody of their children. This situation is what resulted in the conservatorship that we see today. After her visitation rights were suspended, she was committed to a psychiatric ward where she was put on a 5150 hold under California state law. What a 5150 hold basically means is that you can be held involuntarily for an evaluation for up to 72 hours. This happens if the individual shows that they can be a danger to themselves or others, or is gravely disabled. Because of this, the court placed her under a conservatorship that was led by her father James and their attorney Andrew Waller. This is what resulted in them being in complete control of her assets. She was released 5 days later. After everything that Britney went through with her mother, they became estranged for a while. Until this day, Lynn is still fighting to be included in Britney's finances. In May 2019, she tried to gain access to her conservatorship, but that didn't work. She then filed for another request in July 2020. Despite the conservatorship and the obvious fact that she was unwell, Britney continued to work, tour, perform, guest star in shows, release perfumes, and release albums. She went on to release Circus in 2008, Femme Fatale in 2011, Britney Jean in 2013, and Glory in 2016. She was touring constantly and served as a judge on X Factor USA in 2012. This is just a brief summary of everything she was working on. In the beginning of 2019 is where everything starts going downhill again with Britney's conservatorship and the Free Britney movement. If you're interested in that, I suggest checking out our Britney video where we go in depth about everything Britney is doing online and all of that. This video was just an introductory video so we can all understand how this happened and go on from there. Let me know what you want to see for other videos and other video ideas for Britney. Comment down below your thoughts about all of this. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.